Yeah, it's dark.
The moon landing happened, Jake.
Real dad shit, dog.
Don't fuck with me or I'ma fuck with you.
For all the emo sad girls, I want to touch bellies with this man.
What the fuck is up, everyone? It is time for a very, very exciting episode of SceneLabs. I have been keeping this one under wraps for a while. I have opted to not even tease it. As you can see, Jake's not here with me. He won't be here for the interview either. He is at a wedding. Family is more important, but he's very excited to watch this one. I know that. So we'll be back next week with the normal episode. Jake will be here. Everything will be good. But what I have for you today is a lot more exciting than just me and Jake talking about random music and random shit. I have Kristen and Izzy of Conquer Divide. They gave me about 40 minutes of their time today to discuss their new deluxe edition of their newest record, Slowburn. They talk about some touring, talk about some collaborations, but I'm not going to give it away. Just going to let them talk to you about it. So anyway, here is my interview with Conquer Divide. Well, hi guys. How are you doing?
Hi.
Hey.
This is Izzy and Kristen from Conquer Divide, which I am so stoked to have on the show. I have been fans of you guys for a very, very long time. And so obviously getting to do this podcast and interview artists, it's even cooler when you're a fan, like hardcore. So thank you guys for taking the time to be here today.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I want to get right into it. 2 days ago, you guys dropped the deluxe edition of Slowburn, and it is absolutely incredible. I think that a lot of deluxes can get, a little bit old sometimes when it's just like a song and then that's it. But you guys dropped acoustic songs, you dropped remixes, you dropped live tracks. I mean, it is exactly what I wanted from a deluxe album as a fan. So, I just wanted to just start off with 80 Proof. The song was very, very unexpected as a longtime listener, and not to say that it's not something I couldn't see you doing, but when I listened to it, it was just like, wow, I didn't expect to be this emotional while listening to this.
Yeah, that one's a tearjerker. So that song actually predates Conquer Divide. That was something Kia wrote before she joined the band, and we had always talked about the idea of releasing it as a Conquer song, but it just never culminated until this deluxe. I mean, I think we had discussed maybe doing like an acoustic record and dropping it on that, but then this deluxe idea came up. So yeah, yeah.
And for Kia, I think Kia was backwards and forwards about officially releasing it as well. And I believe at one time we even discussed having it as a secret track, like at the end of the album. That was like briefly talked about as well, like not have it like as a track, but as a kind of an Easter egg at the end.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting as well. I'm just glad the song saw the light of day, because I can't imagine just having, and you said it predates Conquer, so y'all heard the song years before it came out.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of?
I think.
It is. It's on Kia's SoundCloud, and it's been on there for the last 12 years, like a different version of it, the original recording. Wow.
Was it always meant to be a very slow, like softer song? Like there was never talks about turning it into like a typical Conquer Divide sounding song?
I think the song is what it is, and I wouldn't want to try to change it. And I'm
Absolutely
sure she wouldn't either.
But yeah, that was the best way to end that deluxe for me. And I wanted to start there. I know that's the end of the deluxe, but I just had to jump right on that. Also, I thought that doing an acoustic rendition of Only Girl was like the best choice from that track list. It works so well both ways.
That was actually the original version of Only Girl.
Wow, okay.
That was how it was written. And then we had to rockify it, I guess. Which, I don't know if we were... that was a really tough challenge to turn that into a rock song. I think we re-recorded it twice, actually, because first we did it in 4/4, and then we were like, wait a minute, that's not the right time signature. So we had to retrack it in 3/4, and it still didn't feel quite right. But the acoustic version, for whatever reason, that is what it's meant to be.
Okay, so I'm guessing there was conversations early on of just making it an acoustic version and not doing the rock version altogether.
I think the intention was always to turn it into a rock song, but sometimes our songs will just simply start out with an acoustic before we start adding production and stuff. But that one was super challenging to turn into a rock song because of how it swings.
I think it works very well both ways. And I feel like I'm listening to two different songs almost on those. And I feel like that's why I was so happy with this version of the song, because a lot of times, like, I think I've even listened to artists that will not even re-record vocals, and they'll just layer the old vocals with an acoustic guitar. But it really sounds like there was equal effort put into both versions of the song.
Yeah, definitely.
The SiriusXM live session. I know that I actually subscribed to Octane, so I saw the live sessions a while ago. So glad they made the deluxe though, because having them on Spotify is and streaming services and vinyl is all very cool. So what was it like? What were those sessions like? Was it fun? Was it, were you nervous? Like, are those awesome?
Yeah, so we didn't do ours actually in an Octane studio, because I believe they've got studios in maybe New York and LA. We filmed ours here in Michigan and recorded it here in Michigan and then sent it over to Octane. So we were actually in the same live room where we did our video for Bad Guy. We're just facing a different wall, so it looks different, but it's literally the same room. So yeah, it was fun. It kind of felt like home, I guess. We've recorded in that studio a lot, so yeah.
Is it weird doing a live version without an audience, or is there an audience? I guess I should clarify that for those.
No audience.
No audience.
Kind of just like practicing, I guess.
It's kind of just like practicing or doing a music video where you just got to record it a bunch of times till you get the right take.
Well, they sounded absolutely wonderful. I feel like specifically Paralyzed on and it was 3, correct? 1, yeah, 3 of the SiriusXM tracks. Just again took it to other levels. I actually, like I said, I saw those early, so I got to see the videos before I caught y'all live for the first time. And my first time seeing you was actually at Blue Ridge Rock Fest.
Oh, cool!
I was very, very excited for that.
We were lucky we got to play.
Yeah, a lot of bands didn't get to play.
Yeah. That was an interesting weekend, to say the least.
Did you camp?
What's that?
Did you camp?
I did not. No, we live so close, and that's like why it was such a cool thing for me and my friends.
It was probably better not camping, I imagine.
Yeah. I felt really bad I had a lot of friends though that were camping, that were texting me, telling me about what was going on. I was like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm not coming back tomorrow.
It was a shit show for all the bands too, believe me.
Yeah, I've heard some stories. I watched Electric Callboy's touring manager, I believe, Tank the Tech, do a whole video about it from the band's point of view, and I was just, it was worse than I could have thought from just being.
And we were traveling kind of with them because we were on the same tour package at that time. So yeah, it was, and we played the same stage as them, and we saw the crazy chaos that happened. They made them. I'm not sure if Tank mentioned it or not, but they made them cross-load all their gear. They basically had an entire semi full of all their gear. They had to load it onto the stage, and then because it was just so chaotic, somebody on the stage told them, oh, never mind, take it off, put it all back. So then they had to put it all back in the semi and then unload it again later. And then, yeah, it was just, I don't know, you advance kind of the gear that you're bringing, and you let the stage manager know, but I think a lot of people walked off, and so nobody knew what gear we were bringing or how many power outlets people needed, and it was just, absolute chaos. There was only one forklift for 4 stages. Yeah. And so I spent a good deal of time waiting on stage with our gear for like several hours, just babysitting it because we couldn't. You can't get it off the stage. There's no ramp, and it weighs 400 pounds, and people are setting drinks on it and pushing it around. So I had to sit there for a good couple hours and watch it before we were able to get a forklift to come help us and then load the trailer up. It was chaos.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was a lot of volunteers. They hired a lot of like young volunteers and didn't seem to train them enough. You know,
and they weren't. I guess they weren't fed or properly or given enough water. So a lot of people just walked off before we got there. So it was already chaos by the time we were loading in because there weren't enough staff. The ones that stayed, they were doing their best, and I commend them. But yeah.
Well, the show was good though.
Yeah, the show was good. We had
we
fans
loved
watching us.
I was just gonna say it was kind of a shit show years before y'all even played there. I mean, honestly, and we were all so hopeful that it was going to be good. We were all so hopeful, and then honestly, I got to see some bands I had never seen before, including you guys. Y'all were like the one I was most excited to see. And then Electric Callboy, Sleep Token, Motionless in White, all the same day. I mean, it was a great concept. The music was great. It's just, I feel horrible for the people that worked it and for the bands that had to deal with it. It was way too hot
as well. Way too hot.
Way too hot in Virginia in September. It always manages to be summer temperatures and when it's supposed to be fall. So, but yeah.
Oh, and one other thing as well, that was actually our album release day, and we weren't allowed to sell our CDs or vinyls.
What?
They wouldn't sell. They wouldn't sell CDs or vinyls at the merch tables.
I do remember I remember it being your release day too. I remember telling my friend because he was watching someone else, and I was like, I'm gonna go see Conquer Divide. Like that's a non-negotiable. It's release day too. Like I'm out of here. So it was a great set. I'm so sorry you didn't get to sell your album though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's okay.
We were just happy we made it out there live.
Yes,
seriously.
I think they have our CDs as well because we sent our CDs to the match. They never gave us our CDs back. So we lost money on that.
We lost CDs and vinyls. They just wound up in the ether. But that happened to a lot of bands. I don't want to name names, but merch was getting sent back to wrong bands in huge amounts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did you guys receive other bands' merch without mentioning names?
We did not, but some friends of ours did. They received rather large shipments of other bands' merch that did not belong to them.
Goodness.
So yeah, it was chaos.
Oh, wow. Well, Blue Ridge Rock, we could spend 2 hours talking about Blue Ridge Rock Fest. I want to just move back to the deluxe for a second. I have a question. Off this album that you guys have played live, what is your favorite song to play off of it?
For me, it's System Failure or Welcome to Paradise. Either of those two. They're fun
songs.
I like System Failure and Welcome to Paradise, both of those. But I also like Wide Awake is fun to play. That one, I like that one. And we recently added The Invisible as well, and I honestly thought that I wasn't going to enjoy playing that one live because it's probably like the easiest song on guitar, and there's like parts where like we're not playing in the verses and that, but that one's quite fun as well, despite it being simple. So it's got a good groove.
I wish I could remember the exact set list y'all had at Blue Ridge Rock Fest, but I know you guys played a good bit of material off of Slowburn. And it was great. I want to specifically talk about the collaboration you guys did with Attack Attack, because that was also something that I didn't see coming, but I was so hype about when I saw it. So how did that come about, and what was that process like?
Well, we're good buddies with them. We've toured with them twice now, and we hang out a lot. Anyway, like we all go to Put in Bay together in Ohio. Here it's kind of like a party island with a bunch of bars on it, so we hang out with those guys all the time, and it was just kind of a no-brainer to ask Chris to be a part of it. He was like, yeah, of course. So that was just kind of all handled over text message.
That's awesome.
He recorded it himself and then sent us the vocals.
That's awesome.
He loves he loved that song. He was, I think he said something about it was the most like one of the most radio banger songs he's heard in a long time, or something to that effect.
It absolutely is. And y'all have been a part of a lot of those with Electric Callboy, with Fuckboy, and like a lot of your catalog is that way. I mean, and there's just super high energy, fun tracks, and hearing that collaboration just made sense when I heard it, and I just thought it was a great addition to the deluxe.
Thanks.
So I want to move on to tours, because y'all have some really exciting upcoming tours that I am jealous of, Europe specifically. But I want to talk about some tours you just finished too, or finished recently-ish. How was it touring with Electric Callboy? I got to know, because that seems like the biggest party tour ever. Yeah,
they're great.
They're great. Not super. It wasn't like they're not like super party. I feel like we were party more of Attack Attack. But Electric Callboy do have fun. But they're just like all really nice, really professional, and they are silly, you know, so that helps. But very welcoming. It was like it was just a big family by the end of it, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
it's not chaotic, you know.
The crew is also very nice and just so welcoming. And I don't know. I think that was the first time I experienced a crew that was that welcoming. Like, here, let me move my stuff out of the way so you can put your rig here. I'm like, what? Like, usually the headliner, you know, they're just like, put your shit on the floor, or like, they don't care when you're the opening band where your stuff goes. But they were so accommodating, and even like their guitar tech would help me out if I ever needed a string change or something. Like they're just the crew was amazing too.
Generous.
Yeah. And we partied with them a little bit, maybe one or two nights, but they're very they have fun, but they take their jobs very seriously. So I wouldn't. They're definitely not partying every day by any means.
And when I say partying, I say the word party, and I got to remind people, I grew up in Virginia in the middle of nowhere, homeschooled, and I go to concerts as my hobby. So when I think of party, I'm like, a show, right? It just looks like they have a lot of fun, and it looks like the guys in Attack Attack do, and you guys as well. So I imagine it was a very fun experience.
It was great. I hope we get to tour with them again for sure.
And then y'all are like at a midway break with your tour with 10 years right now in the US and Canada. How's that been going so far?
It's been going good. We kind of did some headline shows and then hopped straight on to 10 years, and it was nice because we took care of the Midwest with them, and now we're gonna do the West Coast down through Texas as well.
Yeah, I also had written down here the Slowburn headlining shows of those. I believe you guys mentioned that it was like was it the longest string of headlining shows that y'all had done to this date? How are those headlining shows turning out for you?
Well, we've never done like a headline tour before. We've done like one-off headline shows here and there, like in Michigan or in random places like Chattanooga, Texas, just like randomly. But they've been great, and a few places surprised us as well because we haven't done so many headline tours. We're not really sure what our draw is when it comes to audiences. But like Minneapolis, for example, we had a bunch of people there. The room was full, and it was just like. It's like a cool experiment to see like where our pull is and where people want to see us, you know?
So between your headline show and this run with 10 years, I mean, what have been the best audiences in the U.S.? You can don't be afraid to offend anyone's cities. You can be honest.
I really liked Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a really good show. And then I think Cincinnati was good as well. We had like someone dive off the stage there that was very random. That was a 10-year show. And then we also played a random like free park show with 10 years in Ripon, Wisconsin, which is like in the middle of nowhere. It's just surrounded by cornfields. And that was an interesting one. We sound checked and there was literally nobody there. It was just a high street and with a couple of old people walking past. And by the time we played, it was just like the park was filled, you know?
Oh my, that's awesome.
They said that we were the heaviest band to play there ever. So that's kind of cool.
That I'm vaguely familiar with Wisconsin, but what you just described sounds very, very what I know of Wisconsin. But I'm glad they showed up and had a good time and it was a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite bizarre. I think it was a little bit bizarre for 10 years as well. Like they weren't sure what to expect from it because someone at our Madison, Wisconsin show came up to me and he was like, "Oh, I'm coming to see you ripping. You know that's a free show in the park, right? And it's outside." And I was like, "No, I didn't know that." But it was really great. It was just unexpected, I guess.
Yeah. I've never imagined what a show like in Wisconsin would look like, but now I feel like I gotta experience it. Because like around here in Virginia, like we have our, staple venues in like Norfolk and Richmond and all that. Yeah. So it's like, I'll see the same person like 5 times a year at the same show. And it's like, oh yeah, we're here. This is what we do. But I imagine in somewhere like Wisconsin, it's a little bit more special. Just to get to experience that. And you said you're the heaviest band to ever play there, so that's even cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that there's still tickets available for this tour with 10 years, the second half. So if you're listening, go pick those up. They're amazing live. Take it from me. And then you're heading to the UK next after that, correct? To tour with New Year's Day. That sounds insanely exciting. I have never been to the UK, so I'm not familiar at all, but I've heard that the shows there are incredible. Like, the US shows don't compare. I've heard that before. Can you confirm or deny that?
I mean, I thought it was, the last time we went to the UK, I thought it was really fun because we'd never played the UK before, but don't kill me, guys, I didn't see a difference in the audience. Germany, Munich, that audience was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it depends on the show, Maybe it depends. I think Scotland were pretty rowdy, weren't they, Kristen? I can't quite remember now. Even though it was this year. My memory's terrible.
See, now what's going to happen is people are going to hear this and they're going to go extra hard in the UK now so that you can see the difference.
Yeah.
I hope so.
The London show was pretty rowdy. That was a big show, though, that we did.
That was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, London was awesome, but I think that's a given,
Which London show are you guys referring to?
We played with The Warning.
Oh, okay.
In London, I believe it was at an O2. I think, yeah.
Yeah. I've actually heard of that venue before.
Kentish Town.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, New Year's Day, that's super exciting to be able to tour with those guys. They're legends. And so I hope that tour goes great for you guys.
Yeah.
And then supporting Anchor in Europe on like what looked like 2 months worth of tour dates. I don't think I've ever seen a tour poster with that many dates before. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's straight after the New Year's Day one as well. I think it's only like a few days afterwards. So we finished New Year's Day, and then I guess we got to travel to... Are we starting in Germany or Belgium?
Germany.
I can't quite remember. It's Germany. Yeah.
Oh, what a great place to start the tour, too.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Europe from mid-January to mid-March next year. So
wow,
I'm excited. Well, we're gonna get to go to a lot of new countries that we didn't get to go to last time.
So then that leads to another question: where are you most excited to play that you haven't played yet?
Pretty much all the countries that I haven't been to.
Oslo is probably gonna be pretty cool in Norway.
It'll be cool to go back to Stockholm. I think we get to play in Denmark, Poland. That'll be a new one.
Belgium too. We didn't do Belgium.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize how many tour dates y'all had coming up. I thought, in my mind,
Oh, like I think it's 53. I looked at it the other day on it came up on like our bands in town. And I was like, oh my gosh.
53 dates. That's
I think
crazy.
So. Yeah.
Are you going? Do you have an idea of the set list for these tours already? Is that stuff you already have planned out? I'm not going to ask you to give anything away.
I don't think we know how long our time for slot is yet. So
I don't think we've
quite figured out the set list, but
probably a mix.
Yeah, we have a
Anchor are quite
idea.
heavy.
Yeah,
Anchor are quite heavy. I imagine we'll do a pretty similar set between Anchor and New Year's Day.
Okay.
But yeah.
The reason I ask, the reason
I think.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, are you planning to play any songs on any of these upcoming tours that you have not played yet live? Like adding anything new into the rotation?
There will be new stuff for Europe that we didn't play last time we were in Europe, for sure.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I saw that many tour dates, but that's very exciting, and I hope you guys have great tours. I hope the U.S. sends you off well as you move on to the U.K. and the rest of Europe.
And I think one important thing I'm going to touch wood here as well. In like the first time in 10 years, we are going to be on a tour bus for the Anchor one.
Oh.
So touch wood. So that's quite exciting.
That is exciting. Wow, really the first time?
Yeah, we've always just been in a van, so.
Wow. Okay, well.
Van life.
What is some things that you're looking forward to basically fixing being in a tour bus versus a van?
Standing up. Standing up. Being able to like stand up, because we're usually like hunched over if you want to stand up, or you just stay seated. I think just being able to move around the vehicle whilst it's moving, because you can't really do that in a van, And we in the US we usually drive ourselves as well. So it'll be nice not to have to worry about driving. We don't drive ourselves in Europe. We didn't for the last tour either there, but I'm excited about that because Kristen and I are both drivers of the band. Yeah. So we get a little bit of a break.
I like having a break.
Do you guys get used to it? And like, I've never actually asked a band this before, but touring in a van, I can just imagine how tedious that gets. Is it something that you feel like you get used to over time?
I feel like the first day or two is kind of rough, and then you just accept your fate, and then it's you just have to get it done, and you just there's no time to like really complain about it or worry about it in that sense.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, you just have to get through it, and and then when you're off tour, you're like, I like being in my bed now, but
I can't imagine what that sleep is when you get home after touring in a van for weeks and then you hit your bed for the first time. That must be some of the best sleep ever.
Yes.
Especially for the people driving.
I usually sleep for a good week when I get home because you're exhausted from, you're at the venue all day and then you drive all night. So you're lucky if you're getting 5-6 hours of sleep.
And it's like more broken sleep as well.
It's more like 4 hours of sleep a night. So you're just exhausted. And
it's like in 2-hour increments. And then I feel like you wake up every single time we stop at like a gas station, which is like every 2-3 hours. So it's just a lot of napping pretty much. That's what you do when you're touring. And but we all get pretty tired because that half of the people in the band are drivers, then the other half are co-pilots, so they also have to be up just to make sure we're not falling asleep, So
do you have like a buddy system?
Yeah, especially at night. In the mornings and the daytime, it's not that big of a deal, but at night we always want to have someone with the driver just for safety, because you hear all these horror stories, and it is true, and it is really hard driving. It's going to be tricky this upcoming tour with 10 years because it's on the West Coast and the drives are really long on the West Coast. So, yeah.
Wow. I mean,
a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I was going to say coffee and then adrenaline, right, with the shows. I've heard that once you hit the stage, that's when you just get it all back at once. Is that true?
I feel like if I'm driving after a show, I'm good for like maybe 2 hours, and then like it kind of hits you after a while. You know, you come down from the high. You try to chase the high for the drive.
I also wonder if that adrenaline from the performance ever wears off a little too soon. Like you're like 2 songs left, and you're like, oh no, it's going away. I need to get back into it, kind of thing. Has that been your experience, or have you guys pretty much maintained that all the way through?
I don't think that's ever happened to me, unless I've like maybe if I've been sick or something. But I don't think I felt like, if anything, like I might have felt it in the first song before the adrenaline hits, you know. Yeah. And then like you kind of go to a peak, but.
Well, just from my one show of getting to see you at Blue Ridge Rock Fest, y'all's energy was incredible. It looked like y'all had just been wanting to be there all day, and once you got there, it was just you left it all on the stage, and it was a great performance. I know we only have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to ask you guys real quick. So you guys have a lot of collaborations, whether it's on other people's songs or people on your songs. Do either of you have a favorite collaboration that you've been a part of? Or even like a co-write or anything like that?
For me, it would probably be the Electric Callboy one. That was quite a good experience. They just kind of threw me. We had been chatting a little bit on Instagram, and then they threw me that song and said they'd been sitting on it for maybe like 2 years, and they're like, we think you guys would be perfect for it. Do you want to try and throw some vocals down? And I was like, sure. And so when they had sent it over, it only had the first verse and maybe half of a chorus. So I just laid down vocals pretty much on the entire rest of the song, and I said, here's a bunch of ideas, feel free to use them, discard them, whatever you want to do. I actually gave them like 3 different chorus options, and I even put stuff down in the bridge, even though they didn't ask me to. I sent it over, and they're like, oh, we like all of it, we'll just keep it. I'm like, what? Okay. So it was really easy to work with them. Like, they're great. And
it led to the most stuff as well. We got to go shoot a music video in Germany with them and everything. We got to go on tour with them, so that was like the collab that I guess like snowballed into more, you know? Yeah.
Well, it's such a banger, and I think you guys mentioned like high energy radio, just like having like a great time song like that. It was just so good.
They wanted to do like a throwback kind of Blink 182 vibe from back in the day. I was like, oh, I got this. I grew up on Blink and Avril Lavigne. I'm going to do my best. My best
it's Avril Lavigne. I love it.
I was going to say, when I first heard it, the first person I thought of was Avril Lavigne. Like not in like a copied way,
but a little bit more risque, but I was like, I got this.
Oh, so good. And then I got to ask, longtime Sleeping with Sirens fan here. Y'all have collaborated with Kellin Quinn a couple times now.
Yeah.
What has it been like working with him? And which collaboration is your favorite? I think one of them is not technically on Spotify, but it's in my YouTube rotation enough to where it may as well be.
Yeah, he's great. So, interestingly, Kia actually auditioned with a Sleeping with Sirens song. It can probably be found somewhere in the depths of YouTube way back in the day. And so she's been a huge Sleeping with Sirens fan forever. And then I want to say maybe 2015 or 2016, whenever we released What's Left Inside, he tweeted at us about that song, and he was like, this is amazing, let's get it on Octane. And he like tagged Octane. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Wow.
Kellin has heard of us. Like, we were just excited about that. So then a couple years go by, and I think JST was doing something with him where they were switching songs or whatever. Like, this one artist sings a song of another artist, and so that's how we ended up getting linked up. And then I think after that is when I approached him about getting on Messy with us. So yeah, but he's great, easy to work with, super nice guy.
Yeah, I've gotten to meet him twice, and he's always just been like for me, like I grew up listening to Sleeping with Sirens like when I was like 12, I'm telling you. So like it was always this like really fearful thing for me to meet him, and I met him and he was the sweetest guy on the planet.
Yeah,
So
really
it just but anyway, I just wanted to say thank you again, guys, for being on here. Go listen to the Slowburn Deluxe album. Listen to every single song. You will not be disappointed. Watch the music videos because they're all incredible. Every single one of them. They're very well made. They're just great videos, which I actually wanted to ask you guys about. Do you have a favorite music video so far?
Mine's Welcome to Paradise from the...
I would say, mine's a tie between that one and then probably Chemicals. I think I really enjoyed working with Jeb Hardwick. He's great. But yeah, Welcome to Paradise was a lot of fun.
The Welcome to Paradise one was also my favorite. Just it just was so like, I don't know, it reminded me of 2014 metalcore music videos, and that is just such a happy place for me.
Location and performance, you know.
Yeah,
but Chemicals was cool because it was all green screen, so that was like interesting because when we filmed it,
we had no idea what it would look like.
Yeah, like we didn't know what he was going to green screen behind this.
We knew it would be awesome because he does all the architect stuff. We're like, oh, it'll be fine. And then,
you just trusted that the final product would be great.
We sent it back, and I think that was the final draft. We were like, yep, that's it. This is great.
We were super lucky to even get that video shoot done because like 6 weeks later, like the world stopped because of COVID. So we were so lucky to have Jeb come out to Michigan because he's from the UK. So it was perfect timing because otherwise it just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I think he was actually scheduled to go do A Day to Remember video or somebody.
He had to cancel.
He had to cancel and go back to the UK.
Oh.
Poor guy. I think it eventually worked out, and then
he had extra time to work on our video, I guess.
Oh man,
being stuck at home. He did great.
And then eventually he actually took A Day to Remember to that same site where we filmed Welcome to Paradise, and they did their last video there.
Oh, feedback,
Feedback,
yep. I definitely recognize the here's the thing, there's a lot of bands that have done like no offense, that have done like the desert-esque view, so it's like it's hard to tell sometimes. It's like, wait, is that the same spot? No, I'm reaching, you know? But
a lot of the sites kind of get overused. A lot of them are in LA, and it's like going on Airbnb and you rent like a movie set for a day basically, and so they all get kind of recycled. You'll see them in different videos, but...
Well, I don't care what anyone says. The abandoned warehouse videos are always the best ones. They're not overused. Keep doing it. I don't care. Maybe it's because my age is showing there, but I'm fine with it.
And rain inside warehouses.
And hanging upside down light bulbs.
Yes.
Every cliche.
Well, Kristen and Izzy, thank you so much for joining me today. Did you guys want to say anything, any last words to the listeners about anything you got coming up?
Check us out on
Go stream.
Check us out on everything. Go stream our music. We're on everything. You can find us everywhere. Deep dive into our Instagram and TikTok. Our content's a little bit unhinged, and thanks for listening to us.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
You too.